left when I found out she was 8 weeks pregnant with his baby. My name's Jake, and I'm just a regular guy who's been through a rough patch. About 3 years back, I walked away from my marriage after learning my wife was pregnant, not with my kid, but with some other guys. That was the final nail in the coffin of what had already become a pretty miserable relationship. I hadn't talked to her in ages, not a single word, until she called me out of the blue last week. We ended up on the phone for an hour, and that conversation put a final end to whatever was left of us. I want to share my story, not because I've got all the answers, but because I've been reading stuff online, on forums like this one, and it's hit me hard seeing so many folks going through the same kind of heartbreak. It's tough, reading about all these broken hearts, and I'm sorry for everyone hurting. But I'll admit, it's also been a bit of a comfort knowing I'm not the only one who's been through this mess. I've never posted anything before because, honestly, what could I say to help anyone when my own marriage crashed and burned? But after that call with my ex, I started seeing patterns in all these stories, like there's a checklist of pain we all go through, and I've ticked off most of those boxes. That's why I'm here, laying it all out. I met Sarah in Tennessee when I was 22, just a young guy finishing up my time in the military. She was 27, wrapping up nursing school, and we both picked up extra cash delivering pizzas at this little joint in town. We clicked right away, started as buddies, but one wild night at a party changed everything. We became more than friends. She was the one who made the first move, if I'm being honest, but I was totally into her and happy to go along. When my military service ended, I took her to a fancy dinner, got down on one knee, and asked her to marry me. I was head over heels in love, no question about it. That first year of marriage was awesome. Her family was great to me, my folks adored her, and we were inseparable, doing everything together. But then, year 2 rolled around, and things started shifting. I was working a full-time job and hitting night classes, trying to earn a degree in civil engineering. I did my best to keep our time together, special date nights, little romantic gestures, but there was no denying I was stretched thin. I could feel her slipping away, like she was losing interest in me, in us. So, I made a big call. I quit school. I figured my marriage was worth more than a degree, and I could always go back later. But dropping out didn't fix things like I hoped. I learned something about Sarah. She got bored fast, like a kid who plays with a toy for a bit and then tosses it aside for something shiny and new. I tried everything to keep her engaged, surprise gifts, weekend getaways, all sorts of ways to keep the spark alive. But it felt like I was pouring water into a bucket with a hole in it. She wasn't helping, wasn't even trying, and let me tell you, it's exhausting trying to save a marriage when you're the only one fighting for it. Then came the cheating. I'm sure a lot of you know the signs. She got super secretive with her phone and laptop, started being gone from the house more often, and completely shut down any kind of closeness between us. No affection, nothing. Even when I tried to hug her or give her a kiss, she'd act like I was a stranger. I've seen this story play out in other people's lives online, and it's wild how it's always the same. Cheaters pull away like they don't want to betray their side piece by being close to their spouse. I knew something was up, and I was determined to figure it out. We lived in a state where proving fault in a divorce mattered, but Sarah was careful, covered her tracks like a pro. I couldn't pin anything down, no matter how hard I tried. Eventually, I started pulling back too. I stopped trying to be affectionate, stopped even trying to talk much, because it was like talking to a wall. That's when she broke down one day, crying, and admitted she'd been too close with a guy from work. She swore up and down it was never physical, just emotional, and she was full of apologies, promising she'd change. I didn't know the term trickle truth back then, but looking back, I'm pretty sure she was feeding me a half story, maybe even shifting some blame my way to make herself feel better. She said she wanted to fix us, suggested we go to counseling together. I wanted to believe her, or maybe I just convinced myself to, so I agreed. My heart was saying one thing, but my brain wasn't buying it. We went to marriage counseling for a few weeks, but it didn't last long. The counselor started asking tough questions about her emotional affair, and I think Sarah got spooked, like she was afraid the truth would come out. She quit after 4 sessions, said it wasn't helping. For a little while after that, things seemed to get better, almost like I had the old Sarah back. I was so happy, I let myself push all my doubts aside, thinking maybe we turned a corner. That lasted maybe 6 months before the same old patterns crept back in. She was back to being distant, guarding her phone, staying out late, all the red flags waving again. I called her out on it a couple of times, but she brushed it off, saying she was stressed or that I was being immature, which she loved to throw in my face because I was younger than her. Our physical relationship? Completely gone. She had zero interest in me. Then, one day, I came home early and found her sitting on our bed, tears streaming down her face. I sat next to her, practically begging her to open up and tell me what was wrong. She dropped the bomb: she was pregnant. For a split second, I was thrilled, thinking we were finally starting the family we'd talked about. But then it hit me: we hadn't been intimate in months. I looked at her, saw the truth in her eyes, and asked how far along she was. 8 weeks, she said. I did the math, and my heart sank. It had been over 4 months since we'd been together like that. I stood up and walked out of the room, couldn't even look at her. She chased after me, and what followed was like something out of a bad movie. She said all the things you hear cheaters say: it was just one time, it didn't mean anything, she only ever loved me. That last one hurt the worst, like a knife twisting in my gut. I told her I was leaving the house for an hour, and when I got back, I'd hear her out. I was shaking, so angry I didn't trust myself to stay. I drove to an empty parking lot, sat in my Jeep, and just lost it, cried like I've never cried before. In that hour, something inside me broke. I felt my heart turn cold, like it froze solid, and it's been that way ever since. When I got home, I was numb, like a robot. Sarah kept talking, saying we could work through this, that she saw how happy I was when she first told me about the baby, before I realized the truth. She even brought up the kid, saying it wasn't the baby's fault, that it'd need a dad. I just sat there, staring at her, feeling nothing, for almost 20 minutes while she rambled. Finally, she begged me to say something. I told her she was asking me to forgive her, but everything she was saying was a lie. I said if she wanted any chance at all, she had to tell me the real story, no more games. So she did, or at least, she told me more. She admitted it was the same guy from before, the one she'd sworn was just a friend. It had been going on for over a year, on and off, but she insisted it was only physical, that she never loved him, only me. She said he didn't want anything to do with the baby, was pushing her to end the pregnancy, but she wanted to keep it. She still wanted a family, with me. I looked at her and told her our marriage was done. It had been done for a long time, I just hadn't known it. I asked her to pack a bag for a few days and leave the house. I said we'd talk in 3 days about what to do next. She refused to go, kept trying to plead her case, but her tears didn't move me anymore. The part of me that could feel love was gone. I locked myself in the guest room that night, and the next day, I started calling lawyers. I hired one who explained my options. The baby's paternity was proof enough for a fault-based divorce, but I didn't want to drag it out, so we talked about an uncontested divorce through mediation. When I got home, Sarah tried to get close to me, like nothing had happened. I was disgusted, told her that was never happening again. We worked out a rough plan for the divorce. Our house was the biggest thing we owned, and her student loans were our biggest debt. I let her have my share of the house so she could sell it and have some money for the kid. I didn't want anything tying me to her. All I took was my Jeep, a bag of clothes, some tools, my guns, and a few keepsakes from my military days, stuff that was mine before we ever met. Everything else in that house felt dirty to me, like it was poisoned by her betrayal. I wanted nothing but to leave it all behind. The divorce took 13 months to finalize. I saw Sarah twice during mediation, and we barely said a word to each other. She was heavily pregnant by then, and I thought seeing that would hit me hard, but I felt nothing, no love, no anger, just empty. She was a stranger to me. After it was done, I moved to Florida, took a low-paying job as a civil servant. It doesn't demand much of me, which is fine. I bought a little house on the Gulf Coast, fixed it up myself, and got a boat. I go fishing most weekends, just me in the open water. I don't have many friends, don't date much. I've got trust issues now, I'll admit it. People, especially women I find attractive, make me wary. I'm 27, in good shape, and I know some women are interested, but the thought of letting someone in, trusting them like that, it's too much for me right now. I'm not the guy I used to be, not by a long shot. All my love these days goes to my black lab, Stormy. She's my best buddy, goes everywhere with me, work, fishing, you name it. I'm not what you'd call happy, not really. Sometimes, something reminds me of Sarah, and it stirs up this heavy sense of loss, even though I know I didn't lose anything real. My job's great for keeping to myself, I work alone, outdoors, and I can bring Stormy along most days. I haven't found joy, but I've found calm, and for now, that's enough. Then, last week, Sarah called me. I don't know how she got my number, I wasn't hiding or anything. We talked for an hour. At first, it was polite, like she just wanted to check in, see how I was doing. But I could tell there was more to it, she was testing the waters, maybe hoping we could reconnect somehow. She told me she'd had a healthy baby girl 2 years ago, no surprise about who the dad was. The guy wasn't around for the birth, doesn't have much to do with the kid. Being a single mom's been tough for her, and she had to take him to court to get any support. She sounded lonely, said she wasn't happy. I told her I was sorry she was struggling, but it wasn't my problem anymore. I was straight with her, she broke my heart, and it's still in pieces. I don't love her, don't think I could love anyone right now, and I don't want her in my life. I told her she made all the choices back then, for herself, for me, for her daughter, and the only choice she left me was to walk away. I asked her not to call again. What I've learned from all this, from reading other people's stories, is that one person's selfish decision can wreck so many lives. Sarah's choice hurt me, hurt her, hurt a kid who wasn't even born yet. If I could tell anyone thinking about cheating one thing, it's this: you're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting everyone around you, and probably everyone around the person you're cheating with. But if someone's selfish enough to cheat, they probably don't care who gets hurt. A few weeks ago, I shared this story online, and it got me thinking. These past 3 years, I've built a new life, but it's a lonely one. I don't let people in, don't trust easily. Talking to folks online made me realize I was still letting Sarah control me, in a way, by staying so closed off. I was carrying a debt I didn't know. When I left her, I said I took nothing with me, but that wasn't true. I still had my wedding ring, kept it in a box with some old stuff. I don't know why I held on to it, it didn't mean anything to me anymore. But looking back, I think just having it around was dragging me down, like it was sucking away any chance at moving forward. The other day, Stormy and I went fishing in the Gulf, last day of grouper season. On a whim, I brought the ring with me. Out there on the water, I tossed it overboard, watched it sink into Sewanee Sound, about 15 miles off Long Cabbage Key. As that little piece of gold disappeared into the blue-green water, 70 feet down, I felt lighter, like a weight lifted off my shoulders. That ring took all that baggage with it, buried it in the sand below. I owe a lot to the folks online who helped me see it's not enough to just survive a betrayal like that, you've got to start living again. I've even started dating a bit, met a nice local girl. We went to a party recently, had a blast together. To anyone just starting this journey, listen to the people who've been where you are. Don't waste time grieving for something that wasn't real. That pain you're carrying? It's not yours to hold. The ones who hurt you don't deserve it. Let it go, and you'll find freedom. It's time to live again. For 3 years, I swore off dating, didn't want anything to do with relationships. But recently, I decided to give it a shot, open myself up a little. I've been seeing this girl, a year younger than me, never married. Things were going pretty well, getting serious enough that we started talking about the future. Then she hit me with something I wasn't expecting. She's into polyamory, says she could never be happy with just one partner. I'll be honest, I had to ask her to explain it. I'm not out of the loop, or maybe just old school. She said we could both have other partners, as long as it was just physical, and we'd always come back to each other for the emotional stuff. I thanked her for being upfront. Secrets like that cause nothing but trouble, so I respected her honesty. I told her I like her a lot, enjoy her company, and I'd be fine keeping things casual for a bit, but for a real relationship, we're not on the same page. She got it, said she was sorry but understood. It was a weird conversation, left me wondering if I'm out of touch. Are there still women who want a guy who's faithful, or is that idea outdated? My wife cheated on me, and now my girlfriend's talking about double dates with other people. What's the deal? Today's a big day for me, not my wedding anniversary that passes without me noticing. 3 years ago today, my divorce was finalized. I've shared my story before, and some folks even put it on YouTube, which was surprising. Quick version, my ex-wife, who I loved more than anything, had a long affair, got pregnant with the other guy's kid. When she couldn't hide it anymore, she tried to sell me on raising the baby together, said she was sorry, promised it'd never happen again. There was only one way that could end, and today marks 3 years since I made my choice. I'm doing okay now. I don't think about her much. I'm not sad, but I'm not exactly jumping for joy either. I'm just fine, I guess. That's the best way I can put it. But here's what's eating at me: why does everyone keep saying I'm not fine? My sister and her friend visited me in Florida before they started college at the University of Memphis. I'm so proud of her. They stayed a couple of days before heading to Tampa. While they were here, my sister sat me down, said she's worried about me, thinks I'm still hung up on everything that happened. She said I'm not the same guy, that she hardly recognizes me. I told her I'm still me, just fine, not unhappy. But without telling me, her and her friends set up a dating app on my phone, started chatting with a couple of women for me. When they told me, they wanted me to keep it going, but I deleted it all and lied to her about it. I feel bad, but I don't want her stressing over me. I just want her to know I'm okay. My boss and his wife, who I'm close with, keep saying it's not good for me to be alone, that I'd be a great catch. She's tried setting me up with her friends, but I'm not interested, so I told her I'm seeing someone to get her off my back. I hate lying, and I appreciate that they care, but I'm fine, really. Since the divorce, I've had 2 short relationships and 1 fling. The fling? Turned out she was married. I was pissed, let her know exactly what I thought of that. One relationship just didn't click, and the other fizzled out because I didn't care enough to keep it going. I'm not comfortable getting close to people like that anymore. I don't know if I've got anything left to give to a relationship. I've changed, I know that. I used to be the life of the party, always out with friends. Now, I'd rather be alone. Is that a bad thing? I still love my sister like crazy, and my dog, she's the best, my fishing partner, my ride or die. But put me in a social setting, and I'm awkward, itching to get out of there. Is that normal? I'm happiest out on my boat, miles from shore, nothing but water and sky around me. I'm not cold, I feel things, just not strongly. No big highs, no deep lows, just steady. Maybe that's different from the old me, but is it wrong? I know a lot of people who've been through betrayal like this. How are you holding up? Do you feel healed? Do others tell you you're not? How do you even know? Betrayal changes you, no question. The guy you were before isn't the guy you are after. That makes sense to me, but the people who care about us, they worry. I get it, and I'm grateful, but I'm fine. My divorce was final 3 years ago today, and I don't dwell on it much. I loved my wife, she was everything to me, or so I thought. Now, I say that like it's just words, because I can't even remember what that love felt like. It's been just over 3 years since I saw her last, and sometimes I can't picture her face. She was supposed to be my world, and now she's a blurry memory. That night she told me she was pregnant by another man, after months of pushing me away, that's still clear as day. I should have seen it coming, the signs were there, but I didn't want to believe it. I've written about it before, but I don't talk about it much anymore. Tonight, though, being the anniversary, it's on my mind. It doesn't make me sad, doesn't hurt like it used to. Maybe it'd be better if it did. Since that night, I've been kind of numb. Everything got quiet, like the world turned down the volume. At the same time, it all became so clear, the past, the present, what was coming next. The woman I loved was gone, the life I wanted was a lie, and it was over. I didn't yell, didn't fight. I just told her we were done and I was filing for divorce. 2 weeks later, I was gone. Looking back, I don't feel anger or pain, just nothing. What I've taken from this is that nothing lasts forever. Everything, people, love, dreams, it all passes by, like a train you hear for a moment before it fades away. Holding on to what's gone only hurts you more. Let it go, and you're free. Now I've got this new life in Florida, and I think I'm doing alright, but my family and friends aren't so sure. They say I'm not the same, that I changed too much. I see it. Sure, I used to be outgoing, loved being around people. Now, I'm good with just me and Stormy. I don't make new friends, haven't dated much, and I like my own company. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I went through something awful, so it makes sense I'd settle into a different kind of normal, right? My sister came to visit a few months back, and after a few days, she was practically pleading with me to talk to someone. So, I started seeing a counselor. Some of her advice made sense, but it's starting to feel like too much. Early on, she asked me when I last felt really happy or really sad. I had to think hard. It's been a while. The last time I felt anything strong was that night my marriage ended. Since then, I'm just okay, nothing more, nothing less. After a few sessions, she started saying I might have post-traumatic stress disorder with something called a flat effect, and she wants me to see a psychiatrist and a neurologist. She's even talking about medications, stuff I looked up online that sounds like it could mess me up and costs a fortune. It's starting to feel like this is spiraling somewhere I don't want to go. Doctors, hospitals, heavy drugs. I'm wondering if it's okay to just be okay. I'm thinking about finding a new counselor or maybe dropping this altogether. If anyone's got advice, I'd appreciate it.